Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I am of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64 and the Xbox systems, ranging from Xbox 360, Xbox One, and of course Xbox Series X or S, depending on what specific platforms you've got. So, last time we have managed to able to completely done with the forms of Gruntilda's Farron's Fun, which appears to be some sort of like a board game quiz trivia kind of stuff. And overall, I think that we actually did that in a pretty good flawless run through, despite there are some questions I somehow got it wrong though, but apart from those aside things though, I think I did that pretty dominated for the most part. At least I did manage to use quite a few Joker cards for the actual skull spaces and all that stuff, but I digress. So today for this episode is the fact that we're about to finish the game by able to actually kick Gruntilda's butt once and for all, and because of that we're now onto the finale portion of the game, whilst we're able to actually still include the extra video at some point tomorrow, so we'll blast all the way up to the top and face off against with Gruntilda once and for all. I can't believe that fairy pair got right up here. It's so unfair, but now the stupid bear must fight. This battle tests your skill and might. So yes, here's the forms of the final boss of the game, which is of course Gruntilda herself. And basically, this particular final boss has multiple phases. Like, the first phase is pretty simple, you're just gonna have to dodge not only Gruntilda, because obviously she managed able to ride on that particular broomstick, and because of that though, you need to able to actually just to poke her back for about quite a few times, and because of that though, after when you take a hit for, or when you managed able to hit Gruntilda, she managed able to try to send the actual meteorite attack right at you, so you have to avoid that. And because of that though, yeah, not much else to say about this boss fight, even though it wasn't until whenever we get to the next few hits later, sometimes we're going to be moving on to the next phase. So because of that though, some of these attacks can be different. So in this case though, the beginning portion is pretty easy though, as long as you need to able to dodge the actual meteor rock at the right time, because if you don't dodge it well enough, then you're probably going to get hit quite a few times. But thankfully, since we did manage to able to get ourselves our double health upgrade, so this meaning about the fact that the entire boss battle itself might actually go pretty easy. Before you move on to the next phase though, she pulls off this devastating magic spell, and basically that magic spell right there, that actually directly home in on you. So in order able to actually avoid that, it's by simply you have to use the golden feathers to become invincible. So because of that though, that way you don't get that much harm with that specific attack. So, and also while we're at it with the forms in the next phase, thankfully you do have the forms of the honeycomb, so that way if you get hit, then obviously you would be able to actually just to pick up your health again. So anyways, here's the next phase right here, and basically this next phase requires blue eggs. And what do I mean by that? We need to able to actually shoot Gruntilda 3 times in per section of this phase, mainly with like shooting towards at Gruntilda for about 3 blue eggs. Then I believe you got to hit her for about 12 times total. So because of that though, and once you're done with that, you move on to the next phase, which to me the next phase is kind of tricky because of the forms of the requirements of, well, let's just say something related to flying. And because of that though, thankfully there are quite a few pickups you can able to collect, like red feathers or blue eggs or gold feathers, but I would have liked able to pick them up, but because they're almost at the edge of the actual arena, I'm rather not gonna able to risk myself for able to try to pick those up, because if you manage to get knocked back and fall straight down, or if you manage to low on health, and then if you manage to like got all of your health depleted, you have to do the entire boss fight all over again, and because of that, no checkpoints whatsoever if you die on this fight. So yeah, that's something worth keeping in mind. So anyways, here's the next phase right here, which now we can able to fly, and because of that though, why do I just do that? Although, the only reason being because I need to grab that honeycomb, so just in case for health precautions. So yeah, basically in this next phase right here is the fact that we need to fly for the majority of the time, and here's the actual trickiest part about this fight, is that you're gonna have to able to do this particular you know, that move right there, as you saw? Basically, we need to hit Gruntilda at the right angle within the right time, because if you don't manage able to do the correct timing like I just did, most of the time you will waste your red feathers if you manage able to get the bad timing going. But regardless of anything else though, is the fact that that has to be one of the trickiest phases of the fight, because not to mention though, if you accidentally manage to hit the ground and then manage to able to actually just to like not only lose health, but it actually pushes you forward if you manage to able to actually just use the actual like a dive bomb ability, which I have no idea why I say things like that, but either way though, it knows what it is, so. And while we're at it though, is the fact that you still need to avoid those meteorite projectiles as what Gruntilda sends us to, so. Yeah, you probably get the idea about this fight. So either way though, there's not much right to home about, well, unless until whenever we get onto the final phase of the fight, that something more interesting will happen. So because of that though, I think you only have to hit 4 times on this phase right here, even though despite it's a bit difficult to able to get the exact angles to able to actually just try to hit her. I think that's about right. Yeah, it's definitely 4, because I can definitely hear the honeycomb did actually drop, so. And now that Gruntilda managed to able to activate herself the shield, so there's nothing we can do from there. But if we go back on land, basically the actual something interesting will happen as soon as it pops up, while we're able to try to avoid Gruntilda's attacks. As you can see, we actually come across into those Jinjo Statues. What can we do with them? Well, you notice there's actually these little holes over there. Meaning, dang it, that attack can be kind of annoying at times. Basically, we do need to send about 3 blue eggs in these holes in each Jinjos. Basically, that'll deal the forms of the next phase. So because of this though, as far as the final phase is concerned, well, something might actually be kind of interesting to say the least, but I just have no idea why I'm saying things like that, because I know it has been quite a few hours since I actually done some commentaries and all that stuff, so. But I digress. So again, you get out to able to actually feed 3 blue eggs in each Jinjo Statues, and that way one of those Jinjos will able to come to life, and basically they'll deal the damage on, you know, Gruntilda's shield, and after when you're done with all 4 of those Jinjos, then Gruntilda no longer going to be riding on the broomstick, so she's completely stunning almost to the edge of the highest height of the actual, well, the actual, you know what I mean. So, now while we're at it though, is that you still need to avoid these projectiles as what Gruntilda is trying to send us, including the homing one right here. And after a while though, we're able to come across into this mighty Jinjo, which I do apologize for that mispronunciation name. But basically, here's how it goes. We need to send 3 blue eggs once again, except now we need to do in all 4 sides. Meaning about the fact that while we're at it, you have to avoid a lot of projectiles. That's what Gruntilda is trying to able to cast at. Which honestly, that is by far the hardest part about this phase, even for the final phase of the fight. So because of that though, I personally think that the meteorite projectiles is actually kind of annoying to dodge, because you'll get hit a lot. And also because the lack of invincibility frames, if you couldn't tell already, that I keep on getting hit a lot. But thankfully we got double the amount of health we can get, so. Anyway, so, so close to able to finish this off. But thankfully we did manage to able to got enough time to do it, but I think 1 more blue egg should do it, and, well, as soon as you're done with that, I think that pretty much concludes the game, because, well, aside from that stuff though, we'll just watch him just beat the crap out of the forms of Gruntilda herself, and basically that would finish the whole entire adventure, so. In fact, come and think about it though, if you ever played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate before, that actually represents the forms of the final smash for Banjo and Kazooie, which is awesome. Especially noticeable because obviously these 2 duos are my main for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, alongside with Sonic the Hedgehog, such as myself. So, yeah, let's watch the couple of hits on her, and yeah, after multiple hits, then he'll deal with the final blow, and he says something like this. How awesome is that? And basically, after dealing with the final blow, she falls through, and she casts the last spell on us, but she misses, so, ha! And there she goes. Meanwhile, back in Spiral Mountain, ooh. Damn! That is gruesome. Well, looks like she's gonna be stuck in here for the longest amount of time. Gasp, too heavy. Grunty's fate. This should not be so. Hurry, Clunko, hurry. I have no idea why I say things like that, because I do apologize for the actual dialogue error, but I wasn't paying attention because of my mouse cursor was in my way, so, for doing commentary's sake, so as soon as we beat Gruntilda, we ended up in this new environment, which appears to be something related to summer again, but except now we're on Tropical Island, which is pretty awesome, along with the forms of that familiar character from Treasure Trove Cove who's actually riding on a jet ski. So yeah, that's actually kind of awesome looking. Gotta think about it, this scene reminds me of so much of Donkey Kong 64 a little bit. Ah, this is great. Have we finished now, 2D? Can I relax? Sure, Banjo, and you and Kazooie are heroes now. Did you hear that, Shorty? I am a hero. Yes, I suppose you are. Well done, Kazooie. Thanks, Goggles. You're not so dumb after all. That's enough, Kazooie. Let's all watch the cast list now. I just love the humor about the forms of the actual text box with between characters and all that such. So anyways, let's give my final thoughts of the forms of Banjo-Kazooie while the next credit sequence is shown up, which is basically, it's kind of like the same thing as the previous credits, except now it actually features the rest of the cast, from the likes of, well, the majority of the characters, ranging from enemies to regular characters and all that stuff. So yeah, let's give my final thoughts of this game. Overall, I think this is easily, without a doubt, the best collectathon games ever made, along with the forms of Donkey Kong 64, along with Super Mario 64, and I think you can definitely still recommend getting this game. Like, the story is pretty simple, nothing too complicated or anything else like that. It's a pure simple story, but apart from those side of things though, the gameplay is super fun and hectic, and heck, even with the forms of the visual style, it's so beautiful. Even if you ever play the HD version of the game on the Xbox systems, oh man, it looks so much more crisper, and it's actually a little bit more, well, cooler, as far as I can tell. And the soundtrack is magnificent, the controls are perfection, and overall, this game is amazing. Easily, without a doubt, is one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64. Like, I can never get sick of the forms of the actual game, and I'm very glad that those two duos, Banjo and Kazooie, managed to able to make a fine, comeback on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I already established that earlier. And, yeah, there was a little bit of a nitpicking with this game though, most notably with the forms of Rusty Bucky Bay world, because that world is kind of, well, frustrating to me. But apart from those side of things though, yeah, this game is amazing. You can actually get this game for cheap, by the way, from the likes of the N64 original cartridge for it, or alternatively, you can able to actually get it on the Xbox 360 for quite cheap price, along with the forms of the Xbox One, thanks to the forms of the Rare Replay compilation game, or heck, even with the forms of Xbox Series X, assuming if you're able to actually access to the Game Pass, if you're trying to able to pay for it. Well, assuming that's what that is. So, yeah, it's a fantastic game, and you should probably still recommend this, and I'm sure most people have already done that already, so, oh, and by the way, in case if you're probably wondering that, yeah, today's day is, of course, the 31st of May today, in this case in 2021, in this case, the final day of May. So, meaning, about the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that we've only got exactly 12 days remaining until, specifically, E3 is approaching. So, yeah, I'm gonna be hyped about this, and I'm sure most people are already gonna be hyped about this as well, but let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because either way though, that we ended up on the final day of the whole month of May. So in this case though, is the fact that we're able to move on to summer season. So either way though, things get a little bit more exciting, as I said, but either way though, some toy sales will mention more about it until the rest of June. And occasionally, sorry, excuse me, I do apologize for that bell genius for this point, folks. I do apologize for that. That's totally disgusting because I still manage to eat some chili dogs from time to time, but it knows what it is. So, yeah, anyway, and also another thing as well is the fact that if we're eventually going to be hit onto the forms of the other Banjo-Kazooie games in the future, well, obviously the next one we're going to be hit into is, of course, Banjo-Tooie, but we'll discuss that until tomorrow for the sake of the extra video. And another one from the likes of the Game Boy Advance installment, Gruntilda's Revenge, we'll probably tackle for that at some point next year after tackle through Banjo-Tooie, and as far as Nuts and Bolts is concerned, well, we'll try to think about that, because I know most people seem to not really care that much of Nuts and Bolts, just because, well, it's pretty obvious that Nuts and Bolts definitely is the black sheep of the series, just because of the forms of, you know, a totally different gameplay style, as we know, so because of that, though, yeah, there's not much right to home about when it comes to likely just trying to miss out on Nuts and Bolts games, so, unless if you're very curious if you really want to get the game physically on Xbox 360, or on Rare Replay compilation game on Xbox One or Xbox Series X. Speaking of Rare Replay, I'm pretty sure the Rare Replay compilation game will be backwards compatible on Xbox Series X if you want to be curious to try it out. So, anyways, whilst the credit sequence is done, then I'm pretty sure we come towards the forms of the final two scenes, which one of them takes place in, of course, the tropical setting. Oh, we have Mumbo Jumbo, I forgot about him. Hey, Mumbo got secret pictures. Nice one, Bone Brain. What's on them? Got pictures of things you missed, secrets used in next game. Oh, did you hear that, Kazooie? We're going to be in another game. Great, let's see the pictures then, Skull Boy. Did you get all 100 jigsaw pieces? We sure do. We sure did, Mr. Mumbo. Yeah, so show us your secrets, Mask. Go. Pictures show things you missed, secrets that are for new game Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Sounds great. Is it any good? Mumbo's jaw dropped on you. Hey, I better be... Yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Now, only forms of the N64 version of the game are basically Mumbo Jumbo actually says Banjo-Tooie as opposed to Nuts and Bolts. Because usually on the HD version of the game, it did always mention Nuts and Bolts. So, anyways, as you can see on screen, even though despite the fact that it was a bit squished in this particular picture footage right there, but it knows what it is. And basically, it shows us some of these secrets that we might able to be curious to able to try out, which I'll talk more about that until whenever we get onto the extra video for the sake of Banjo-Kazooie. But for now on, let's see how this footage will actually plays out to be. So because of that though, if you probably noticed why there was some bit of flickering going on right there every time when oh wait a second. Oh, don't tell me they're gonna... Oh, they messed it up! But I can do better, because I might as well do that on the extra video. Yeah, you can notice on that few seconds notice, there was actually that annoying blackout moment. In regards to the forms of the transition between, you know, next section to the other. I have no idea why I just did that. Mainly it's because, well, I just have no clue. So basically, Mumbo Jumbo's actually trying to show you the forms of some of these secrets, most notably with the forms of, as an example right there, the giant ice key right here, which, again, we'll show that off until the extra video, so that'll be interesting to able to check those out. And, yeah, there's not much else to say, because either way, though, that's, I'm actually pretty excited to able to actually show you guys some extras of how this game offers us to. Especially because if you guys have not seen this for a certain amount of time, then you might be able to actually be curious to able to try those out. So, either way though, well, specifically if you ever played the HD version of the game, as opposed to the original N64 cartridge versions of the game, well, again, I'll talk more about that until, you know, tomorrow, so, wow. how did we get those? Mumbo not telling, find out in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which I don't feel like we can able to discuss on Nuts and Bolts anytime soon, despite it's a black sheep of the series, but it knows what it is. It looks like he's still having some fun on that specific jet ski. Seriously, this scene reminds me of summer as well, which can be a convenience because we're moving on to June next, until the next day. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it for the most part. So, yeah, it's a nice little swell ending. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this part right here. So join me tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie. That is, we'll show off the extra stuff. And by the way, if you ever played the N64 version of the game, it says the end. But for whatever reason, on the HD version, it says game over, which I have no idea. So anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for some extras. So I'll see you guys then.